Imagine this. You're scrolling through old black and white photos of New York streets in the 1920s, or watching a film set in a quiet Midwestern town you've never visited. And yet, something inside you aches. You feel a longing so deep it almost feels like nostalgia, but it's not for your past. It's for a life you've never had. Strange, isn't it? Yet, millions of people in America feel this every day. Today, we're diving into the mysterious psychology behind feeling homesick for a life you've never lived, and why your mind might be secretly yearning for an imagined reality. This peculiar feeling even has a name, anemoia. It describes nostalgia for a time, place, or life you've never actually experienced. Unlike ordinary nostalgia, which connects us to personal memories, anemoia pulls at our imagination. It's as if our mind is capable of creating an alternate past, a life that feels just as real as the one we live, yet we've never actually been there. Have you ever felt drawn to a certain era or lifestyle? Maybe the bustling streets of 1920s Chicago, a quiet coastal town in Maine, or a bohemian life in San Francisco, something that seems perfect in your imagination. That longing isn't just daydreaming. Psychologists believe it's part of our human tendency to idealize the unknown, to imagine a life that might solve the discomforts or monotony of our own reality. So why do humans feel this strange, almost painful longing for a life they've never lived? There are a few reasons. First, our brains love stories. They love imagining lives beyond our own. The grass seems greener not because it actually is, but because our mind crafts it as perfect. Second, life can be stressful, repetitive, or unfulfilling. Feeling homesick for a different reality is a way our mind temporarily escapes discomfort, like a mental vacation. And third, sometimes this longing isn't about the life itself. It's about missing certain emotions or experiences we feel our own lives lack: freedom, adventure, romance, or creativity. Each of these taps into the human need to explore possibilities, even if they exist only in imagination. The feeling of homesickness for a life never lived can be bittersweet. It's not just daydreaming, it can be almost painful, like a quiet ache. People report a sense of longing when seeing old architecture, vintage photographs, or period films. They feel emotional resonance with stories or cultures they've never experienced. There's a mix of sadness and comfort, as if they visited a home they never knew. It's fascinating. Your brain is capable of deep emotional connections not just to your real experiences, but to imagined ones. And the emotions feel real, even if the events never happened. Neuroscience suggests that this phenomenon is tied to how our brain processes memory and imagination. The hippocampus, responsible for memory formation, works closely with the prefrontal cortex, which handles planning and imagining. When we feel nostalgia for something we never lived, our brain is essentially simulating experiences, activating the same emotional pathways as if they were real memories. In simpler terms, imagining a life we've never lived can trigger real emotions: joy, longing, sadness, and even regret, almost indistinguishable from actual experiences. Consider Emma, a 28-year-old designer living in Seattle. She often feels a strange longing when she watches old films set in 1950s New York. The music, the cafes, the rain-soaked streets, it all feels achingly familiar, almost like home. But Emma has never been to New York in the 1950s. She wasn't even alive back then. Yet, the emotions are undeniable. Or Jack, a college student in Austin, Texas. He spends hours reading about the counterculture movement in 1960s San Francisco. He paints, writes, and decorates his apartment inspired by that era, feeling a connection he cannot explain. It's more than nostalgia. It's a kind of emotional resonance with a life he never experienced. These stories are not unique. Millions of Americans feel an invisible pull towards eras, cultures, or lifestyles they've never touched. And psychologists believe it reveals something deeply fundamental about human cognition. Let's break it down scientifically. Our brain doesn't just store memories, it simulates experiences. When we imagine a life we never lived, the brain can generate emotions that are indistinguishable from actual memories. That's why looking at an old photograph can make us feel a genuine sense of loss or longing. Imagined lives also allow us to explore different aspects of ourselves. When someone feels drawn to a past they never experienced, they are unconsciously experimenting with traits, values, or desires that are underdeveloped in their current life. And paradoxically, there's a comfort in this longing. Even though it reminds us of what we lack, it also provides a safe space to feel connection, romance, or freedom, without the risks of real-life experience. Culture amplifies this phenomenon. Movies, books, music, and social media constantly showcase idealized lifestyles. Seeing perfectly curated lives of the past, or even alternate realities, can trigger a sense of anemoia. Social media, for example, often romanticizes eras Americans never lived through: vintage photography, retro fashion, classic music. These visuals awaken longing for something we cannot touch but feel deeply drawn to. Moreover, society itself sometimes creates a subtle dissatisfaction with the present. The idealized past becomes a canvas for projecting hopes, dreams, and emotional needs. Research shows that people who frequently experience homesickness for lives never lived often share certain personality traits. They are high in openness to experience. They crave novelty and are imaginative. They are empathetic, deeply connecting emotionally with stories, even if fictional. They are reflective and introspective, spending time analyzing their desires, feelings, and identity. These traits allow them to immerse fully in imagined worlds, making the longing feel incredibly real. It's not a flaw, it's a unique capacity of human imagination and emotional depth. But what impact does this longing have on real life? On the positive side, it enhances creativity and art. Writers, musicians, and artists often draw inspiration from imagined worlds. It cultivates emotional depth, empathy, and self-awareness. And it can motivate us to pursue experiences or lifestyles we secretly desire. On the flip side, it can sometimes create dissatisfaction with the present, leading to escapism or, in some cases, anxiety or depression if the gap between imagined and real life feels too large.